Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. We're gonna do a quick one with this. Basically, we're gonna deal with the Renderman render. You need to first install the PxrRenderman, and then you go to GitHub, and then in order to do this, you need to download to Renderman add-on. And once you have that, get the latest add-on, and you can start doing some rendering in Blender. So this is the educational license of Renderman, I guess you can call it. If you ever want to do this for commercial, you need to pay a license. Okay, let's play with Renderman. The nodes that I want to use today is the PxrVary. You can see this is cycles nodes. You don't need that actually. There should be like Renderman one. Okay, this is the one that we should be dealing with. Let's set up something real quick. This is PxrVary. So it's PxrVary. This is for the color. We saw this a little bit in the previous live noding, but we're gonna cover a little bit more. Now for the rendering, I decided to use Pixar on the image viewer. It's called it, and I'm gonna set up my layout like this. The output should be display on the it, and we can leave everything else. Actually, this just set it to 600 by 600, render at 50%, so 300 by 300. We need a Pixar light, area light. Okay, this is a Renderman area light. And really quick, I'm going to arrange this cube. So this is the master cube. I'm gonna go to animation nodes and set up something real quick. Grid mesh, and then object instancer. Let's turn off this. Okay, grab the cube, and then with this guy, plug into the instances, and object. We need object list. Plug this guy in. Object transform output, and just arrange this object. Okay, we have 25 cubes, and each one of them should be using the same material. Yeah, all good. Let's do a test render. Render image. We're still getting this render image, but it actually should be loading the it. So let's wait a little bit. Before I forgot, I need to actually change the camera view. Frame our cube. Okay, now we are good. Should be seeing something here real quick. Looks like it's doing nothing. Let me cancel that. File, save, and set this to preview, and then render PRMan start interactive rendering. That's probably a better way to do it. Okay, now we have this guy. I use it a few times, but I think I don't remember everything, so I think we can actually save. This is just the render. I think we should have the image to inspector. Okay, the inspector, and then although in this case we don't need to worry about that. So we have this interactive renderings currently rendering this thing. If we switch to Renderman, select our object and plug in the PxrVary with this guy set to name, we should get some color, hopefully. Saturation 1, luminance, gamma. Let me stop this and then re-render. Okay, now we have the variations. Cool. This is exactly what I want to show you. With this node, we have a quick way to create a variations of color. Whether it's so you just set up like one input color, and this guy will do a quick variations. Input color I think can be anything, including maybe one of Pixar procedural pattern, maybe fractalized. I have not used this actually. Maybe fractal can be used. So that's probably kind of doing it. We can randomize the hue. So okay, that's the result we are getting. Where is the? Okay, we have the luminance, the hue. Okay, that's interesting. Apparently, before we do that, actually, let's start from this first. Let's say we are using red color, and then we have the hue here. The hue variation is set to 1. That means red colors can become all kind of colors, not just red. But if you have just a little bit, like 0.0 something, you should generally get variation of red slightly with a slight hue variations. Let me stop rendering and re-render. I don't think it's doing it properly. So this is the result I'm expecting. Red with a little bit of randomness. So we have all kind of different color of red. You can set this to pink, and you get all kind of different color of pink or rogues. Saturation you can adjust. So this hue, saturation, luminance, gamma, and probability is kind of like multiplying on top of the original color that you're supplying here. So that's why if we plug this guy in and stop and re-render, we get this kind of result. I believe the Pixar fractal will give just like a grayscale kind of image. So if we randomize the hue and maybe keep the luminance or keep the saturations, let me stop that. Perhaps a better way is not doing it this way, but kind of mixing the Pixar fractal and PxrVary using math or multiplier. So Pixar utility pattern. Let's see if we have math node, vector math. Let's try this guy. Wonder if this is the right thing to do it. Vector and vector, and render again. This is I believe this is Blender's own maybe that's not the right way to do it. Let's see, mix RGB, maybe better. So this color and this color mixed together for the diffuse color. Yeah. Okay, we are getting something. Maybe try multiply. Stop the render. So I think the interactive render of Renderman is not always displaying the right thing. Okay, now this is much better. We can have pink with a slight hue variations, or maybe green if you like green. If I increase this, we get all here zoom tool. Okay, depending on this tool. Let me check if we can actually save something.